Welcome to our webinar on candidate acquisition, the power of passive talent. Today we will focus on how to attract passive talent to your business before candidates start their job-seeking cycle. My name is Dan Leverington from job search engine Adzuna. I joined Adzuna in mid-2015 following 3 years recruiting electrical engineers so as to ensure the recruitment sector had access to high-quality candidates at an affordable rate. Today's webinar will go for about 20 minutes. Any questions you have throughout, please put them in the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. With me is our CEO, Rafe Watson, who will explain Adzuna's background and why we are in a unique position to discuss talent pooling with you today. Hello, Rafe.
Thanks, Dan. Morning, everyone. I thought it makes sense for me to spend a couple of minutes chatting about the genesis of Adzuna, both globally and certainly here in Australia. So the genesis really is from Fairfax needing to innovate and also look beyond its traditional job boards of My Career and also jobs.com.au. They noticed that user preferences had changed in the way to search, and also technology has moved a long way on since the 90s, and that's when job boards had first sort of developed. So Adzuna itself is in 11 countries, soon to be 15, including an imminent launch in New Zealand. Fairfax approached Adzuna and formed a joint venture for launch in Australia. Now, why this is important is it allows us to do two things. One, act like a normal job aggregator or job search engine, in that we are a destination site for active job users, but uniquely, the power of the Fairfax 300 websites allows us to get in front of, activate passive job seekers. Now, interesting stat is 80% of people in current roles have said they're more than happy to look at the right job when it's put in front of them. And this is what we're able to do by harnessing that power of the 300 websites. And people are looking for a house, checking the weather, looking for a date, or reading the business section or the Fin Review. So Dan will step through how this is relevant in this topic, and I'll leave it to Dan.
Thanks, Rafe. Today we will be discussing the power of the passive candidate. Before we do this, however, it is important to understand what exactly a passive candidate is. A passive candidate is a professional who is not actively looking for their next role on a job board. Moreover, passive candidates can be engaged by corporations or recruitment agencies prior to initiating their job search. As Rafe mentioned, only 20% of candidates are actively searching for a new job, meaning that to focus solely on this segment is to ignore 80% of the workforce. This is all well and good. However, why try to reach candidates who are going to require more effort to find, potentially be less responsive once you have found them, and be more difficult to convince to move from their current role to join your organization? The reason is twofold. Firstly, not only will you gain access to a richer pool of talent to choose from, but you will also increase your brand awareness in front of potential customers, creating a win-win scenario, and in the process, strengthening your sourcing channels. We are constantly told that the world is moving faster, that we must do more now. However, with the right passive candidate recruitment strategy, we believe it is possible to increase your ability to target relevant, warm candidates already pooled in your talent community to complement your current sourcing strategy. So today, we want to speak to you about the following 3 topics: how to connect with passive candidates before they begin their job search, how to shorten the journey from job discovery to first contact, and the benefits of diversifying your sourcing channels. The first topic we want to go through is how to connect with passive candidates before they start looking for a new role. We're not convinced this acronym is the reason Pirates started saying "R." However, I'm sure they would have been pretty chuffed to know the effect they have had on marketing in 2017. The Pirate Metrics are a growth marketing framework developed by Dave McClure. Dave McClure was the director of marketing at both PayPal and Simply Hired. He's now the founder and managing partner of the incubator 500 Startups in San Francisco, investing in 1,600 companies in 60 countries, working with 3,000 founders to grow their businesses efficiently. Hence, he knows a lot about successfully scaling organizations through affordable recruitment methods across multiple industries. The foundation of the Pirate Metrics is that when it comes to customer growth, you need to consider and measure these 5 key areas. This focus allows you to A, use the metrics to form a strategy, and B, measure which part in the process isn't working in order to adjust appropriately. This second point is very important. It is very unlikely that an entire strategy is wrong. Rather, it is much more likely that only certain parts aren't working, which on their own can damage the overall campaign. By implementing accurate measuring standards, you can quickly adjust course to deliver more positive results. The framework is very popular in tech startups, and we at Adzuna use it ourselves for both our B2C and B2B marketing, ensuring we are successful when communicating with both our consumers and clients. We think that as a recruiter, the candidate is your customer. Your boss and hiring organization is the client, but ultimately your value is based on the quality of candidates you can bring into the business. So how do you bring the candidates in? When it comes to acquiring candidates, the first step is just about getting their contact details or getting them to visit your careers section. From here, how do you activate a candidate to make positive action? Activation can be as small as providing their CV or replying to an email, or it can be as big as them saying, yes, I'd love to chat about working at your organization, or I am happy for you to represent me to your relevant clients. Once we have acquired the candidates and activated their interest, how do you keep the candidate happy throughout the process? And then finally, how do you get people to talk about your organization positively and refer you to their network? So who are your ideal candidates and where do they congregate? Unfortunately, they're probably not visiting your careers section where you have expertly explained your EVP. What you can do, however, is direct these candidates to your careers page in order for them to see this EVP by doing a few of the following. We suggest employing PR fundamentals to your recruitment strategy, which is a continuation of the blurring of lines between these two industries. For example, say you are looking to find quality digital marketers. The easiest place to start is by asking your marketing team where they learn the latest marketing news and skills online. Why? Because it means other professionals in their space will be looking there. This is Scott, our head of marketing. While not swimming in the Blue Lagoon geothermal spa in Iceland, when he wants some marketing inspiration, he reads case studies on these websites. So if you're looking for marketers, and that's where marketers are, your goal should be to have your brand mentioned on these sites. All of these sites are desperate for content, and this is across all industries, not just marketing. They all have submission sections for businesses to send through content for publishing. You'll be surprised just how few people work at these online industry publications. They are always on the lookout for content to educate their readers and continue their reputation as the go-to site for industry news. As your marketing team, ask your marketing team to guest post on something awesome they have done and submit it to relevant publications. I'll bet your marketing team puts time into award submissions, so why not repurpose these by splitting them up into multiple blog posts? Then of course, add a call to action at the end of the post saying we are hiring with a link to your careers section. This does require buy-in from the relevant hiring department, but I think in most organizations, this is a pretty easy sell with minimal work involved. Or what local meetups and networking nights are in your space? Get your head of marketing to present on a project they've been doing to their peers. We appreciate the importance of business secrets, so you don't need to be giving away secret formulas to your competitors. However, even if it sparks interest in just 10% of attendees, you have just increased your brand awareness and ideally driven new candidates to your passive talent pool. So the benefits are, firstly, your brand is in front of people who may never have heard of you. But more importantly, you have shown what great things candidates can achieve by choosing to work with you. I believe the concept also works well for recruitment agencies. All industry publications are interested in hiring and job-seeking challenges in their sector. As you are a vertical market specialist, why not write a post on how candidates can find a job in a particular sector, or what key skills your clients are demanding, with a list including new courses recently made available. This places your name in front of both candidates and clients and offers valuable insight not readily available. From here, either candidates go straight to your careers section, which you have linked to, or they will be more likely to apply when they see your job post on Adzuna. The key is start with who, go to where, and be creative. Or even easier, ask your colleagues to be creative. Who are you targeting? Where are you targeting? And how are you targeting them? So when it comes to diversifying your sourcing channels, what does that actually involve? So it involves targeting passive candidates through guest blogging. It involves targeting active and passive candidates on Adzuna, and it involves targeting active candidates on Seek. If you're trying to build diverse talent pools, you should be visible everywhere. Think not just about that one job you are filling. Every high quality CV matters when you're building a talent community. Now, just a quick interruption. The way that we like to target passive candidates personally is through the Fairfax Media Network, which you can see on the left-hand side. We've got branded client content, which directs straight through to your careers page. And on the right-hand side, we have the mobile sushi train, both scrolling up the page on the left-hand side and across the page on the right-hand side. This ensures high visibility in front of the 13 million readers Fairfax reaches every month, and it really can't get much simpler than that. You now have all of these great candidates interested in working for you, but you don't have enough roles right now for everyone. Now the emphasis moves from attracting to needing to keep these candidates warm. So how do we do this? Thankfully, there are multiple channels available. Send these candidates company and industry updates. This proves that you're aware of the market and verticals you operate in, as well as allowing you to display your recent successes. Candidates want to know that they are going to be joining a successful organization, and they don't know what they don't know until you tell them. Invite them to company events, have trivia nights, pitches, networking opportunities. This requires buy-in from the wider business. However, it allows you to be seen as leaders in your field, which creates a positive impression on passive candidates weighing up whether your organization will be a good fit for them. Activate candidates when you need them. You can only do this if candidates have already experienced positive interactions with your business throughout their journey to date. This ranges from timely responses to applications to the aforementioned company or industry news and invitations to networking nights. Eventbrite, the American event booking service, discussed this at ATC 2015 and are really doing great things. Through the passive candidate programs they run, they've established themselves as employers of choice, resulting in them receiving 20,000 quality job applications per year, of which they employ just 1%, which is a key growth enabler for the company. They can hire efficiently and therefore quickly scale the departments required to leverage their growth opportunities. If you are a consumer-facing business, it is especially important for the candidate to have a positive recruitment experience. At no point should your recruitment process be responsible for you losing a customer inadvertently. If you go down the guest blogging route as discussed above, which we highly recommend, you are actually using the publications to refer you to candidates for free. This can be very powerful as they give you a legitimacy in the market straight off the bat. In terms of candidate referrals, the prerequisite is that candidates have had a positive experience throughout their interactions with your business, whether you are a corporation or a recruitment firm. So if you don't ace the retention part, this will not work. Candidates understand the numbers they are up against during applications, interviews, and placements. You can be accommodating, you can be rude, or you can forget to respond to their application. Two of those behaviors are anathema to building a strong passive candidate pool. Maybe you could offer an incentive for referrals, or maybe just at the end of the process, you could ask, do you know anyone who would be keen for a chat? Good people know good people. If you've built good rapport, this should be a straightforward conversation. Overall, this strategy will help you spend less on recruitment eventually. There is no silver bullet. However, the key is to ensure that you are not relying on just one source of candidate to fill all of your roles. It just doesn't work like that if you want to access the best candidates in the market, and measure as much as possible. Sources of candidate applications, traffic levels per blog, email signups per event, it will all inform the next steps in your strategy by knowing what works and what doesn't. It will take an investment of time and it does require upfront work, but soon you will have the talent at your fingertips to decrease your time to source and increase the quality of candidates you are interviewing, which is the reason we all work in this profession. And now we would like to take some questions that have been sent through throughout. The first question we have from Scott is that this seems pretty labor intensive to get other departments involved. This is a really valid question, and certainly one that we've come up against ourselves. I guess the key is to understand just how quickly the recruitment game is changing. And what this means is that sourcing strategies must as well. While it can appear to be a particularly large workload at the outset, as we mentioned throughout the presentation, the benefit of being able to repurpose material that you've previously used, such as award submissions into multiple blog posts, really can ramp up that content to push across into your blogs. But some examples that we've used ourselves have been, our staff members have written their own personal blogs, do a significant amount of PR because we have access to so much market data. We're able to produce industry reports each month, which we send out. And then we also do a lot of print and digital advertising, as well as television and radio. So that there's a lot of paths in order to get your message out in front of a wide audience.
Yeah, I'd leave you with a thought, which is it's 2017. It's time to try something different. It's time to digitally experiment.
Thank you, Rafe. And thank you everyone for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we hope you have a good rest of the week.